Hey YouTube, just wanted to show you some of the sewing projects that I've been working on for the past few days. Something that I find pretty interesting, and I know in our modern world, like, we live in a very specialized world where people have very specialized jobs and trades. But I think in the past that and in the third world as well, you'll see that a lot of people, they can't afford to pay to buy consumer-made goods, and they can't afford necessarily to pay for someone to build their house or to sew things for them or to make nets for them. And so, they might not know how to do everything perfectly, but they know they have a lot of different kind of skills. I know it's kind of something looked down on in our culture, like jack of all trades, master of none, but I think it's actually pretty useful to know how to do a lot of different things. And a lot of different things tie into other things. I mean, you learn one thing about one skill, and it can translate into another skill, so it's not necessarily bad. Anyways, this is what I've been working on for the past few days. This is paracord, which everybody knows. And I got this stuff. It's kind of like paracord, just a little thinner, but it has an inner strand too. I got it here in Mexico. And it's pretty cool too, because I think sometimes paracord is like overkill. You can carry a lot more of this. It's the same thing. It's, synthetic nylon or, but it can still support a lot of weight, but you can carry a lot more for the weight that you're carrying. Well, here's some of the things that I made. This is pretty cool. It's, a bottle holder just from paracord. Got like a bottle holder knot here, and it's adjustable. And then basically you can just sling it around your body like that. You want to take a drink of water, you just take it and put it back like that. And I'm going to be taking it on my trip with me. I'm going to be going to Honduras in the next week to do some diving. Anyways, that will be another video. I'll talk about that. But got the paracord bracelet. It's always useful to have a little cordage, and the paracord obviously is useful because it has 7 inner strands that you could use for sewing or fishing. You can take that apart. Here I made a lanyard for a knife. It's also adjustable. I don't know how I'm gonna show you that, but basically all these knots you can move back and forth so that so you can put it on your arm. You can tighten it up. That's called a Celtic button knot. It's kind of like a decorative knot, but at the same time useful. I don't know, I'm just trying to give people ideas. It took a little while to research things, and this is like a permanent glow stick that one of my subscribers recommended to me, and I bought it, and it's really nice. Anyways, it's like just made a lanyard like this, and this is a cobra stitch, the same as that, and then you can move it back and forth as well to adjust it. The lid came off. You're gonna have to glue that on. Anyways, and made the same sort of thing for this machete for the top. So I could always have some cordage with me. That's also, a lanyard. You can put your hand through there and then tighten it up on your hand. And I did the same thing. I made like a adjustable sling. Because you might not always want to have it on your belt. It's a lot more comfortable to just sling it around, and then you got the extra cordage. Here's something else that I worked on. I had these military pants, camouflage pants. I don't know, I don't really like the to wear like full camouflage clothing, so I converted them into shorts with my sewing machine. And it's the first time I did it. It didn't turn out perfect, but it's functional. And I got a lot more pants because I lost a lot of weight that I'm going to turn into shorts. And I think it's pretty useful because it would cost me a lot of money to convert them all into shorts if I paid someone. And I'm learning something, And like I said, it's a useful skill to be able to modify your clothes, or even to make clothes from that. And the other fabric and sewing skill that I wanted to learn and show you guys is netting. You know, this is 18 gauge nylon thread, and from that you can make a net. This a friend of mine made in Honduras. It's a hammock, you know, and he made it in like a fishing net style. But it's too thick. It's super heavy. It's good for your house, but I want to make another one from this 18 gauge, which is thinner, and I'm gonna make these squares a lot bigger. But you can see like the general idea of how to make it. Super useful skill. I mean, you can make a lot of things with that. Nets, curtains, bags. Well, and this is a sewing machine that I use to do my sewing. And you don't need to spend a ton of money to get into sewing, especially in the United States. You can find these sewing machines. Probably you can get them for free if you have a family member that might have one and no longer needs it. And it's really it's a beautiful machine. They really don't make things like this anymore, you know, the type of craftsmanship that they put into it. And I really doubt that a plastic machine would last as long as this. Plus, you can fix a metal machine easily. You can make your own metal parts with files. I mean, whereas plastic is pretty hard to reproduce, you know. And these machines, they really are over-engineered. I mean, they're, you know, they didn't have computers in that time to reverse engineer things, so they just made it really solid. And apparently, they lasted for so long that if you traded in a Singer machine, Singer would actually just destroy it, because pretty much they're, you know, indestructible, and they didn't want too many of them to be in the market. And at the time when they bought them, these machines were super expensive. People made monthly payments on these machines for years. It was almost like buying a car at that time, you know. And people just don't really appreciate them now, but they're very good, you know. And you can use them manually. A lot of them have treadles, but also, you know, you can just you could just spin it by hand. And there's also hand crank ones that have like a crank here that, you know, you can use without power. Anyways, I got this one for $6.99, and it's really not hard to find machines like this in that condition for that price. If you look around at Goodwill or garage sales, or maybe even up in your attic.